back. Thank you for staying with us on Monday Special, and it's time for our conversation this evening. What will it take to fix Nairobi? And my guests in studio are newly minted parliamentarians in various capacities. Sakaja Johnson is the Senator-elect for Nairobi, and Kibra MP-elect Ken Okoth, and congratulations to both of you for winning in the elections. Let's start by listening to what the newly sworn-in Nairobi governor had to say.
I wish to assure you of my administration's commitment to partner with the national government in ensuring proper provision of security, improvement of health facilities, education facilities, provision of clean water, slum upgrading, solid waste management, decongesting the city, infrastructure development, as well as environmental conservation, sewages, and drainage system.
And based on what you've heard, I'll start with you, Sakaja. Where do you intend to begin? That's quite a tall order that the governor has placed.
Thank you, Anne. And first, please allow me to say thank you to the more than to the around 840,000 Nairobians who expressed confidence in me to be their senator, and I'm humbled to be able to serve as senator of Nairobi. The task ahead of us is a huge task, and we'll need the grace of God and the goodwill of Nairobians. The first place to start for me, especially, is really in bringing together all the elected leaders in Nairobi under what I'm calling the Legislative Forum for Nairobi, whether we're elected in NASA, in Jubilee, whichever party, and for us to start mapping out a legislative agenda for this city that will support the work of the county government. We acknowledge, based on the votes we got, for instance, Governor Sonko with 870, myself with 840, Pasaris with around the same, but we got votes across board. And what that means is that Nairobians desire not to be divided by along political lines, but to have a team that can work together to deliver on the promises for this great city.
Okay, so yours would be a legislative agenda first.
It'll be important for us to sit down and not just for us to come together, but for us also not to be able to go around together and listen more to the people of Nairobi, to make sure that we have that right, to make sure the right structures for accountability with the county government, so that we can deliver. The MPs get CDF, MCAs want a World Development Fund with the national government. We must be able to integrate all of that and say, with this amount of money, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is what we want to focus on. That unity of purpose is really what is going to deliver for us, Nairobi.
Right.
And of course, also working closely with the national government, and that is just what the governor, has said, that indeed for Nairobi to be sorted out, you need a very close working relationship. Remember, Nairobi produces close to 50% of this country's GDP. So if Nairobi works, Kenya works, in general. So that must be done as soon as possible. All
right. Ken, and you sit here in an interesting capacity because you in many ways represent the most needy of Nairobi residents. So when you hear the incoming governor talking about fixing security, improving health facilities, education, clean water, slum upgrading, solid waste, decongesting the city, infrastructure development, etc., are these the priorities from where you sit?
First of all, I would say that Governor Sonko comes into this office with a lot of goodwill, and I extend my congratulations to him, and I pledge on my own behalf, but on behalf of the Kibra people, that we want to engage with his administration to deliver for Nairobians and to deliver for the people of Kibra. So congratulations, Governor, and you have a very short time to make an impact. I think 5 years is not a long time. In the first year, he'll be bogged down with getting his people and his team in place and completing projects that were left over and inherited. He has really the second and the third year to implement his projects, because really by the fourth and the fifth year, campaigns are starting again. You're just finishing the projects from the third year at the end of the term. So I think teamwork will be important. Nairobi is the biggest county in the economy. We contribute more than 50%, as has been said. We have 17 members in the National Assembly, plus a women rep, that's 18. We have a senator, and then we have also nominated members who will become from Nairobi County. So I think that is an asset that Governor Sonko must show leadership in engaging, and not just out of goodwill and as a question of style or preference, but it's what is the right thing in the Intergovernmental Act. that puts it together. We didn't see that happen very well in the last 5 years, the engagement between the governorship and the other elected leaders. That will be critical.
Right, but in terms of priorities of projects,
yes.
I
can tell you in one sentence, if Sonko focuses on people, he will win, and he will win big. If he focuses on things, he will lose, and he will lose big time. You know, you can talk about infrastructure projects. Jogo Road, there's nothing wrong with it. The bypass, there's nothing wrong with it. But you go down on the southern bypass at 120 kilometers per hour, yet you've got citizens of Nairobi who voted for him living in the slums without water, without ECD centers. The clinics we have there, the county is supposed to provide us nurses. They've been on strike 100 days. They're not there. So if he focuses on people first, he will deliver big time for Nairobi. If he focuses on things, roads, bridges, trains, I think he won't get it in the first 5 years. It won't happen. It really has to be a pro-people focus, and I'm happy to talk about, for instance, youth. Health is under his docket. The health needs of our young people, from mental health, from drug rehab. We have young people going into hard drugs in this county, and they need their methadone. If you're a poor boy from Kibra and you have to walk every day to Mathare, you don't have food, you don't have fare to go to the only clinic where you can get methadone for your addiction to heroin. That's a huge problem. So he will have to focus on the people and delivering things and services to the people where they are needed, and he will win big.
All right. And so, Sakaja, what would the people first policy look like for you? Would health be the priority, slum upgrading? Which would it be, and how would you go about it?
I think health is definitely big. We promised that in our manifesto. Remember, at some point I was going for the same seat, and I had what I was calling Sakaja Care.
Yes.
There are more than 46,000 families that are very vulnerable and cannot afford to pay for hospital bills when somebody gets sick. They cannot access those facilities. And with 2.4 billion out of a budget of around 45 billion, you can make sure all of those families and their dependents are able to access medical facilities, are able to get drugs no matter what ailment they have, in partnership with NHF and the World Bank. That is something we're very keen on.
And in the manifesto, you talked about putting all poor Nairobians under free healthcare cover. Is there a number? Do you have a number to it? How many poor Nairobians are we talking about, and how will this program be rolled out, and within what period? That's what
we were calling then Sakaja Care, and of course now it can be called that. But the numbers are 46,000 households.
Okay.
The 46,000 households.
Right.
The cost to 2.4 billion thereabout annually. And you see, it makes sense because that money then goes into county facilities. So instead of us, as soon as you fall sick, somebody is going to Kenyatta, we need to sort out the referral system of health. So that dispensary near you, in your ward or in the sub-county, has facilities, has equipment, has the right doctors to be able to treat you from there coming up. I think that's a worthwhile investment on our people and on our facilities, so that we can make sure that at least Nairobi is healthy. Of course, there must be a focus on preventive measures to be taken. We had a cholera outbreak just recently. The state of sanitation has been wanting in Nairobi, so we must clean Nairobi. And I'm glad the governor started with the Marisha program already, and that must be constant. But on top of that, something Ken has mentioned is when we look at the young people, we've not had youth-friendly facilities. A lot of young people have reproductive health issues, and we have no place where they can go and discuss those issues. A lot of our young people, of course, are also jobless. We need to address the concerns of jobs for them. And I'm glad that now I'll be focusing on implementation of legislation I brought in the last parliament, the 30% procurement opportunities, as well as the National Employment Authority, to make sure that at least we can give some hope to these young people and engage them in the economy. That will also need very close partnership with the private sector. And a lot of those in the private sector and middle class Nairobians have been so willing to partner with the county government in order to achieve this, So that is what we hope to do. A lot of stakeholder engagement constantly for these 5 years.
So if I could just take you back to the healthcare issue, when can these 400,000 plus families then expect to be under a county policy?
And, I don't want to put a date on it, but the first thing we need to do is to look at legislation, whether we need to do something through the National Assembly or through the County Assembly. or through the Senate, you know, and that's why I'm saying the legislative forum is very, very important for us. Whether we need to do a supplementary, remember we're in the middle of the financial year, and there was already the budget that was done by the county government. I'm glad there are certain programs, for instance, with the World Bank, where they would match coin for coin what we're able to put in. I had started those discussions, and I'm glad now I have the mandate as a senator to go in with those discussions. So I think within under a year, we can already have that phased out. NHIF has already started a lot of these programs across the country, and so instead of reinventing the wheel, it will be easier to then now partner with NHIF in implementing this. Ken will tell you how many times he has to be called. Somebody's in hospital, they need 30,000. How many people we rescue in hospital because of bills? And I would like to appeal to any Nairobian, or any Kenyan actually, who can actually afford to get NHIF, to actually get it. Because you might say that 500 shillings a month is too much, etc. But when somebody falls sick, your entire investment just goes up. A mother will get sick and the family entirely gets impoverished. You have to sell your land, you have to sell, if you had a cow or two, etc. You have to sell that. And that's what we're saying, we must insure people. So health for us is big.
Okay, let me move to the question of sanitation, and you talked about the governor's project that has rolled out. Ken, what is the problem as you understand in dealing with garbage, waste and drainage in the city, and what would you like to see the county government do?
I think if you talk about garbage and waste and drainage, there's two issues. First is the issue of planning. If you think of places like Kilimani, these were places that were built, you had one home on a quarter of an acre or half an acre. Now you have 50 apartments with the same substructure, the same sewage pipes that have been put there, the same neighborhood roads, but now you have 50 apartments with 100 or 60 vehicles to it, while you used to have only one family living there with one vehicle with 7 or 10 people, however large that family was, relying on that sewage line. So I think we really have to look at our planning. What have we already done? How fast is Nairobi growing? And then invest in those things. But I say that is fine. I still come back to the point that I told you, it's about the people. You remember right now the ministry is talking about a huge plastic ban. Blindly, it looks very nice. Let's ban it. Yes, in a few days, next week. A plastic ban. But the mama who's selling mandazi in Kibra, they are not allowed to sell mandazi using newspaper. The mama in Karagosha who's selling chips or fish is not allowed to fry them and wrap it up in newsprint. So unless you've come up with alternatives for them, and these are the same poor people in this same Nairobi. So while I was thinking about improving the sewage lines for people with apartments in Kilimani, we might also be thinking about the policy about the poorer person in Nairobi whose government policies affect them. So I think sewage and water, Honorable Sakaja touched on it, is very important. I'll say one thing. There was Peter Kenneth in his campaign. He had a very good idea. He said, link water and health. In Kibra, the number of productivity days and the cost of curing waterborne diseases, dysentery, cholera, just general affectations that affect children with dirty water. And the people of Kibra, in a place like Kibra, you pay more for water than the people in Karen. You go to Industrial area, you earn 400 bob. You come to Kibra, you're buying water from cartels that are selling you a jerrycan at 20 bob. You need 5 of them. So you spend 25% of your income just on water. You haven't bought food, nothing. So I think provide water, even be bold. And I say this is about people. If he goes about people, he'll deliver. Give the water free to the poorest in the slums. That will save us and productivity. The number of days your maid is sick because they live in Kibera and their child is sick and they can't come to work. So many things will be sorted out if we say, give clean water to the poorest. Is that the budget that the country can do? I think it can do it, but there's more than just that. When it comes to water, and I'm glad the ongoing reforms at Nairobi Water, you must look at two things. One, the infrastructure. We have a lot of sabotage along the lines, where as simple as valves just being closed. Langata, for instance, had almost a 15-year problem. It was unlocked in a day when somebody went and just opened the valve, and some of these people who had been fired then would go with that information, etc. We need to invest in technology and have cadres along the line where you can actually monitor and see where the infringement is, where the sabotage is. So we must look at the infrastructure. In certain areas we need to overhaul the infrastructure that we have. But on top of that, the
social connection policy. There's a very clear social connection policy that again is done in conjunction with the World Bank, with the Gisome Meter plan, where actually water was coming, and they started that I think in Soweto slum in Embakasi East. And it has given people some sense of dignity that actually I can have my own meter, because it is true. The poorest of the poor in Nairobi pay more than 50 times more for water that you pay for, and that is when they can get it. Almost 60% or 70% of Nairobians have never had a shower, water coming from above their heads. They don't know what that is, and so we must solve that issue. Number two, we must deal with the issue of the sourcing of our water, the North Collector tunnel issue, and the Kaime and the Mugweri connection, and our engagement with the Murang'a County. And I'm very glad that the President is very keen on the Nairobi Metropolitan Authority, because that is what will make sure our interaction with our neighbors in terms of sourcing water, how do we do surface water, how do we, county-to-county relations, how that is sorted, because that is extremely important. So that can be done. I do agree. But once you distinguish the commercial use of water and the domestic use of water, it actually might be possible to give the most vulnerable water for free. But make sure that because now once you put in technology and such measures in place, that those who are using above a certain quantity of cubic meters per month or per week, pay for the water. So it's possible.
But you've both talked about sabotage, etc., and the cartel question, which is what I want to deal with. And I mean, cartels in Nairobi run so many things besides water. It is the unfair charges, and if you like, traders on people constructing buildings, etc. It's all over. How does the governor intend to deal with that? And more than that, there are some who fear that in the absence, you've got to replace that vacuum with something, that power vacuum with something. How do you ensure it's not just another cartel, one cartel kicking the other cartel out?
The first thing that you must do to deal with cartels is you must resolve not to be a part of the cartels. You cannot deal with cartels when you become part of them. And they normally would start ensnaring you during campaigns. When they see you're about to win, they'll bring you money and whatnot. And I'm glad, because I know for sure that our governor of Nairobi, Mike Sonko, has not engaged with those cartels. Number two, and this is very clear in our manifesto, we want to automate and digitize all the payments in Nairobi. Reduce the human interaction with cash. The minute you reduce that, there are fewer avenues to steal. So much money is brought to the county government in cash and it's spent at source without that being banked. So we need to remove that. And then have an open policy, an open government policy, where civil society, whoever wants to come and get information and to audit what you're doing is able to access and get that information. And number three, the people around the governor must be beyond reproach, like Caesar's wife. I still share that thought, and just remembering, and I do want to focus on the last government, but your personal assistant or someone so close to you being charged with corruption allegations and being found with money stashed, and yet you maintain the person because the case has not been solved. Just that appearance of there being corruption in your office allows junior officers to then engage in corruption, So there must be a very high standard within the governor's office and all of those who have authority to incur expenditure when it comes to integrity. That really must be done. We lose too much when it comes to corruption in Nairobi. Nairobi says they collect around 11-12 billion a year, and almost all of that is going to salaries. A lot of ghost workers are still existing despite the barometric measures that were beginning to be introduced by the county government. So we have a situation where the county governor will have to make very difficult decisions and measures in the first 6 months that might be unpopular, but that Kenyans will come to appreciate in 2-3 years.
What are you talking about?
Number one, you must rationalize your staff. And I'll give an example of Nairobi Water. More than 3,000 having been employed in the last few years, where they probably need just 1,500 people. Look at Nairobi County government.
Staff will have to go home.
First, let the ghosts go. then you can rationalize. Because if you see the cleaning that has been done over the past few days has been done by who? By Sonko Kitten. So where are these people actually paid to do this work? So we must rationalize that, and I hope that the governor institutes an audit as soon as he gets into office, and he got into office today. An audit of all of this, a human resource audit, an audit on the finance office that has been running currently, so that he can weed out all of those issues now. You only get this grace for around 6 months. If you miss it and you lose it in the first 6 months to a year, then you lose the good one.
Okay.
And we'll never be able to cut off. And I'm sure Ken agrees with that.
Ken, just touch on what Sakaja has mentioned in terms of the outgoing governor, and in your own estimation, I mean, he's talked about that, that appearance of impropriety, to be able to have somebody that close to you and not leave office. That as it may be, what do you think he got right, and where did he fail miserably? Mistakes you wouldn't want to see the incoming governor repeat?
I think one of the key things that the Kidero administration suffered was on communication. When Sakaja says open governance, that as a principle is very good, but I would take it even to effective communication. The Kidero government, if you ask the typical Nairobian, even someone like me who is engaged and interested, I can't tell you on a consistent basis how much were they receiving from the national government, how much were they collecting their own revenue, and what were their priorities and how it was being spent. They kept explaining there's a shortfall of money. But if you don't come out and clearly explain that, and this will be a challenge, not just to analyze the past, but it's a challenge to Senator Sonko. You can set then clear expectations, Governor Sonko, on what is it you're going to deliver when you know with what budget. I'll ask you, for instance, the policies around youth and engagement and a new economy that brings more people in. We will ask Governor Sonko, for instance, build for us a world-class stadium in Kibra, better than Camp Toreo. That is a county government function. It's probably going to cost him 50, 60, 75 million if he wants to do it quickly. And he will generate excitement for young people there, opportunities to practice their sport and build their skills up. But if he is not telling us what are the 10 projects he wants to do in sports, which is his activity, which is one of his devolved functions, and what is the cost and how much money can he raise, and which two will he do in the first year, which two will he do in the second and the third year, that lack of communication leaves people then saying, hakuna kitu wamefanya, hakuna kitu wamefanya. So I think a communication was very important. I think the things that the Kidero team did, they didn't communicate well enough, tell us, here's what we have done, here's when we plan to do the next, here's what's remaining, so that I think as a communication piece important. But going to the open government issue, sharing on how much the finances are in, wealth declaration. Let the governor set that example. If you're going to say be clean as see your wealth, the people around, declare your wealth, restate it every year like the Makweli governor, Kibuka Kibwana. Declare it every year to show you're there working in the public interest and you're not part of the cartels or using city of yourself and reason. That's important. Let me just say one of the key critical things. Senator Sakaja touched on it and must be emphasized. There is a policy and a commitment in Kenya as a principle that 30% of government business, services, supplies, tenders, whatever it is, should go to young people and women and marginalized groups. The Nairobi County, that is one way they can start engaging young people and let him give an annual audit. Don't wait for an annual audit. Give every 6 months updates of which are the genuine tenders that have actually gone to young employers and young business people and women people to get involved in our things. But my last key point that I would say is to really think about the policy necessary to bring in as many people. Nairobi is a unique place. We're talking about transportation hub. We're talking about it as a center for IT, information technology, financial services. We're talking about it as a center for film, arts, music, entertainment. This is all being done without any coordinated government engagement. It is happening despite of government negligence. From the ministry to the county policies. Governor Sonko has a chance for once to be the person who's a visionary to put in the policy to say, Nairobi will be the center for sports. We have stadia in each of the constituencies. And they don't have to be 50,000-seater stadia. They can be smaller stadiums, even half the size of the Machakos Stadium that Governor tour. But it will bring matters there. Policies for film. How do you make sure that young people bring in equipment and starting in to create media and things like that? We'll have it. So again, I go to my key point is like, if the governor thinks people first, get out all our unemployed people and give them a chance to use their talent, to live with dignity in Nairobi, to eat of their own sweat in a dignified person, Nairobi will prosper for everybody. But if you forget the people, you'll then hear Nairobi is growing, Kenya is growing, but it's really a stock exchange, a few companies, the big billionaires are getting it, but everybody else is being left hungry. You know, the can't even eat. The average Nairobian eats 1 meal a day. We're a starving city of malnourished people, and it's a ticking time bomb.
All right, and as we wind up, I just want to put an omnibus question to you, Sakaji, and I beg your pardon because we're absolutely out of time, but I want to focus on the money issue. So here is an incoming county government that has promised to slash parking fees by half, reducing licensing fees for small traders, completely abolishing certain fees, at the same time not telling us exactly where it's going to get this money from. And be that as it may, then you have a 72 billion shilling debt owed to you by national government. How do you recover it? And finally, do you believe that the revenue allocated to the county should be increased? Is it time to rethink that?
Number one, let me start with the debt. It's very unfortunate that in the last administration there wasn't a very good working relationship with the county government and the national government, even to discuss this. And I'm glad the national government has expressed no willingness. I think some of the fears they had was a level of corruption. You don't want to put 72 billion in a hole. And so that through the Senate we'll make sure that we restructure it as conditional grants successively to Nairobi. It doesn't have to be paid all at once, but over time can be paid to Nairobi. Number two, yes, I do believe that we must restructure the formula for allocation of revenue. If you look at it, 70% of what a county gets, close to 70% depends on how many you are and how poor you are. Then land mass. And you have some indices there that actually are very outdated, like poverty index. Instead of measuring human development index, access to certain facilities and amenities that devolution is supposed to cure. So we need to look at that. We might want to introduce probably county GDP, like is in India or other countries with the same structure of fiscal decentralization as we do. And I've been thinking, and this I'll have to consult with my fellow senators once again to the House, that since Nairobi produces almost 40%, actually 50% of our GDP, if we invest in Nairobi, the rest of the counties have more to share. So how do we remove Nairobi from that specific formula and let the 46 divide based on the formula, but invest more in the city? So there's a bigger cake. We always talk about sharing the cake, but no one is focusing on how do we bake a bigger cake for us to be able to share in the country. Finally, your question was on the rates and licenses. Yeah, and how do you plug the deficit? I think number one, the first way you plug it is once you digitize, you increase compliance. So it is not always, and I'm very disappointed. Most governors thought the way to increase revenue collection is by raising the tax. Sometimes even having it at that level, lowering it a bit, but increasing compliance and letting people see the value for their money. But I know I'm paying my parking, but my car is secure. I don't have also to pay a parking boy or somebody in town to take care of it. I'm paying 250 bob and you combine it's actually being cleaned. You increase compliance because there are people who are below, very vulnerable. I'm a Mamboga being charged 200, 300 shillings, and that is the profit that she's making. Let's increase the productivity. So I agree with that. I think now we need to go into the details of how to implement that, how to phase it out, how to differentiate between different levels of those who are doing business. But I see the goodwill around that thinking that the governor had. Finally, on the 30%, as my friend was saying, and incidentally, he was my treasurer at the Young Parliamentarians Association, and I was the chairman. And he's still young anymore. I'm still below 35 and But the point is this. When I brought that law to Parliament, I made sure that the monitoring and evaluation of it is still within Parliament and the National Assembly. So I hope that my colleagues in the National Assembly, together with me in the Senate, will make sure that we monitor and hold Nairobi County government to account on the 30%. And we'll be releasing that list every so often. The law says it must be done every quarter to know whether young people are getting it, whether they're fake companies of the same cartels hiding behind young people, and whether it is actually improving those lives. How do we mentor those young people? How do we mentor the businesses? How do we incubate them? Finally, because we're closing, I'd like to say that the task ahead of us is not easy. It's going to be difficult, and we need the goodwill of the people of Nairobi, but we promise you that if we work together, myself, of course, the ODM MPs, Jubilee MPs, MCAs, in 3 years, we can truly transform Nairobi to be a world-class capital, but it must be.
Ken, final thoughts.
I would say it is easier and it's better to have rather than have 1 million small traders in this city who are working harassed and overtaxed and too high the licenses. Better you reduce those licenses, treat those small traders with dignity, and allow 2 million registered traders to actually work in this city, each employing 1 or 2 few other people, that's 4 million jobs created. And charge them a lower fee and treat them with dignity and with value. If you go to places like Thailand, if you go to places like Paris, at 6 in the evening, the streets are closed and the small traders come and they each have a license, and where they're responsible for selling their evening things, and when they will clean up at midnight, and they're provided the security. It rotates even street markets. When you have Maasai market going around, you can have that happening in the city. So I think really the Kanjo of Nairobi has had a very bad reputation of being violent and treating people who are poor, criminalizing them as they go about their hustle and livelihood. We need a city government that respects and facilitates every Nairobian to make a living and to pay taxes in this city and contribute to this city. And for the governor, I would say, think about even the sustainable development goals. They are not just about people. Let us show Nairobi as a leading city in the implementation and delivery towards the sustainable development goals. It's very good. I'd just like to say that on the issue of the 72 billion, the new governor is Governor Sonko. He has the goodwill of the presidency. He has a senator who's willing to work with him. He has members like me who said we will give them full cooperation. It serves no purpose to say, there was corruption under Kidero, that's why he was not given. Because again, Governor Kidero was not charged with anything. He's a free man. He was there to be handing the instruments of power in goodwill. So it's not to say, he wasn't given the 72 billion because he was specifically corrupt. The money wasn't for Kidero. The money was for the Kenyan people. So I think let us be careful when we say things like that and not cast aspersions. So that's the only thing I'd say amongst the good things Sakaja said. It was not nice of him to say that the 72 billion was blocked because of a perception Kidero was corrupt. That's not fair. There are so many corrupt people in this country. I didn't say that was the reason. I apologize if I had you wrong. He's gone and now the governor is Sonko. Yes. So let's work together. Let us not
How about I wind it up there while we're still talking the same language? And I thank you both for your well-reasoned views, and I think it's fair to say Godspeed to your team, Sakaja, led by the governor, because if they get it right, then so many people's lives will be changed, which is so necessary in the capital and throughout the country. I thank you both for your time. We're taking a short break. I'm back with the business after this.